All right, thank you for staying. And if you're just joining, you're watching Daybreak, reaching you live from the nation's capital in Abuja. Going into the next discussion on the program, the Securities and Exchange Commission has released new rules for digital assets as part of its efforts to regulate digital virtual assets such as bitcoins and NFTs. This is contained in a recently released document titled New Rules on Issuance, Offering Platforms and Custody of Digital Assets, essentially legalizing digital assets such as cryptocurrencies in Nigeria. The development is coming more than a year after the Commission issued the classification and treatment of digital assets. According to the regulation, digital asset actors include digital asset offering platforms, digital asset custodians, virtual assets service providers, and digital assets exchange. The rules apply to all platforms that support the trading, exchange, and transfer of virtual assets, all issuers and sponsors of virtual digital assets, including international and non-residential issuers and sponsors, and any operator that aggressively targets Nigerian investors. Although in 2020, the Central Bank of Nigeria directed financial service providers to hold cryptocurrencies transactions, the new SEC regulation mandates the registration of the offering and sale of digital tokens that are considered securities. Now, to talk about this, we have joining us in the studio cryptocurrency expert Japhet Johnson, as well as foreign exchange and business development expert Emmanuel Okwara, to talk about this. Thank you so much for joining us on Daybreak this week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Now, when we saw this new regulation by SEC, it looked like an endorsement of cryptocurrencies in Nigeria, and that's also a conflict with the position of the central bank. What's your take on this?
All right. So thank you very much for having me on this show. I was here, I think, last 2 weeks to talk about digital assets and what it means. And we're having regulations now coming up. So I think Nigerians were just waking up to the real fact of what's happening with the financial sector. But in everything, I think I'll just pull us back to talk about figures a little bit to understand why we are coming into this. In 2020 to 2021, Nigeria did over $2.4 billion in volume. And only about 500 million was done with the local exchange here in Nigeria. That means over 80% to 90% of those transactions were done with foreign companies. Now, it's really a thing of concern to know that, okay, most of those funds were not actually being taxable because those companies were not registered.
Those foreign companies? Was it because of the CBN position?
No, even before that, because they have better services, they have stronger platforms, they have well-known presence. So a lot of Nigerians know more about them than the local exchanges. And it's a thing of concern for Nigeria to be number one in the world, but most of these transactions are done with the foreign companies. So you see, it's like you have the fuel, but it's being used by another country outside there. So the ban caused a lot of trouble for the local exchanges, one, but it increased peer-to-peer. So we're having more of Nigerians knowing more about crypto after the ban. It surged over 16%. And as of then, we were doing $9.5 million every week in volume. So if the government is not going to get a lot from it, that means it's going to be a lot of chaos. No, we should not do crypto, but Nigeria are finding other means to do crypto with these foreign companies. So this is just a wake-up call for us, and there's a lot to it.
Okay. Now to you, do you see a conflict here? You know, because the central bank has a different position from this one.
Thank you very much. I see a very big conflict because, yes, regulation is good because it helps to reduce financial fraud and it restores investors' confidence. But the problem here is CBN placed a ban, SEC has regulated. Now, transactions, most of them, peer-to-peer, as he said, has to go through the bank. Banks will listen to CBN because there were penalties charged to some banks that did some crypto transactions. Now, if I'm a CEO of a bank and I've just paid a fine for this transaction, and then I haven't heard a press conference from CBN in support of SEC, definitely there's going to be a problem because for me, the ban still stands. So I think that the conflict here is that SEC has rolled out a regulation, which is quite good in a way, but CBN has also come out to align with SEC. If not, the fear and the panic is still going to be there. And most of these transactions are going to be made through the bank. It's still going to be a problem. We're still going to continue with the old ways of peer-to-peer, making it unknown, without even writing, displaying crypto. So that's a problem. Yeah. If there's a regulation, the two parties have to be in agreement. It has to be made public for me. So that's why I think that there's going to be a little conflict, unless that is rectified.
All right. Now, in terms of implication of this on the stock market, give us an idea of how this is going to have an impact.
Well, how it's going to have an impact is this. The truth is the announcement of the regulation alone can be a boost to our stock markets, a lot of companies, because a lot of companies want to actually toe the same lane by making transactions in Bitcoin, even if they've been longing to do that, but because of the ban, they can actually do that. So this actually makes it more easier for transactions to take place, which is going to be like a boost. But right now, even if there's a boost in the stock markets, maybe a bullish trend in the stock market, it's not going to trend for a long time because the fear is still there, and fear is not good for the market. What is the fear? The Apex Bank has still not aligned or said anything about it. So yes, the news is going to be a boost in the market, but I can tell you,
but in reality,
is not going to last because both parties have not really agreed. What really moves all these markets is news, fundamental analysis, news.
Because I remember that the CBN ban, it spoke directly to commercial banks, that they were not to deal in it. So despite this regulation, would the commercial banks are not going to shift, no?
They would not, because let's be honest, who would the banks listen to? Is it SEC or CBN? It's CBN. And SEC has made this statement, but they need a statement also from CBN to align with that. If not, if nothing is rolled out to them, nobody wants to actually go in and actually allow these transactions.
Okay, there's this report that says that despite the order by the Central Bank of Nigeria to commercial banks, Nigeria is said to account for the largest volume of cryptocurrency transactions outside of the US. This is according to data from Pax4, a Bitcoin marketplace report. Why is that so?
So that was why I was trying to pull the numbers for us to start with. You understand? We are in a country where a lot of youth are trying to find a means of livelihood. Okay? So, and we are looking for, I talk about investments. So we're looking at investment that will help us get more money quickly. And we're having youths that are in a position that we're always on our phone.
Okay, you said something. Investment that will make people get money quickly. Is that the push?
Now look at, yes, because the volatility of cryptocurrency had made it a little bit faster to multiply your money if you understand the fundamental and technical analysis. You understand? And a lot of this is, a lot of companies are coming into emerging technologies. So it's easier to go into a platform like this to make more funds. And Nigerians are so good with that. So one, we have teeming youth, over 80 million, that are having access to their phones. We have access to information about these exchanges. An average Nigerian knows more about the United States stock exchange companies rather than Nigerian stock exchange companies. You hear more about cryptocurrency, you hear more about PayPal, Apple stock, but you don't even hear about Dangote shares or MTN shares. So an average Nigerian have more information about where to get stock from the US rather than getting stock here in Nigeria.
Okay, so now, but this regulation does not, take away the volatility of the crypto market, does it?
It doesn't.
Right? So in what way do you think that it can, is there anything that is going to add to the confidence of investors to go into the crypto market?
So exactly, regulation is to provide security, because what the SEC is trying to do is we want to ensure every platform where you go to do these exchanges, we are able to secure our users so that if anything happens, there will not be any rug pull, they will not move away with your funds, they have insurance, they have paid up capital with us. So if anything happens with users on those platforms, we'll be able to refund, and we have those people behind the scene to be able to say, you are going to pay for that damage. So that is just majorly what regulation does. And that allows new players to come into the market knowing that clearly I can integrate this company because they are being regulated. So without regulation, it's just going to be chaos at the end of the day. But the issue is not the regulation, it's how do we do the regulation.
Exactly.
That's what we should be looking
Which
at.
is the next question I'm going to ask. Is it
So
practical? How practical is it
So
to
good.
apply this here?
I was discussing with Mr. Emmanuel here this morning, and a lot of times why we don't have the Amazons built in Nigeria, why we don't have Google built in Nigeria, is because we showed a lot of this opportunity at the early stage. When you are regulating and you are making it look like it's going to be monopolized because the average Nigerian youth does not have the capacity to pull all these resources together to build the next biggest exchange in the world, then you are allowing the foreign country to be able to come in with their own companies and pay you that money. So you are just selling the rights now, but you have not been able to incubate new, let's say, new young Nigerians that will be able to build a viable product over a period of 10 years. These companies that are coming into Nigeria have been existing for more than 10 to 15 years. They have the funds. They are coming in to pay you the 50 million, the 30 million you are going to charge them. But at the end of the day, remember, you are pulling over 200 million Nigerians to do their transactions.
So how could it have been done differently?
So that's why I was saying, what do we need to do? Create an agency where you have these startups in Nigeria, have banks come to work with them. We'll be able to study this stuff. Okay, we have 10 crypto companies in Nigeria. We have 10 banks. Okay, we are going to ensure that you have accounts with all of these banks, and you'll be able to do transactions while we study, okay, is there profit? Is there loss? How do we get more funds for you? What infrastructure do you need? Do you need light? Do you need internet? In the process of studying that, you are building a conglomerate of cryptocurrency experts in one place, and at the end of the day, we'll have the biggest exchange because currently we have the largest number of people adopting cryptocurrency.
But some people are still worried about it though because of its volatility.
Every stock is volatile, even in the forex is volatile. The currency, naira to dollar.
Cryptocurrency is higher.
So the issue is that everything can be moved based on, as you have said, news. So we have more people talking about cryptocurrency. If we have more people talking about PayPal news, PayPal talking about Google every day, it's going to be volatile because someone will say, no, Google is stealing your data, Google will crash. No, Google is providing you with Alexa, Google stock will go up. But we have more of experts talking about crypto daily, and that's why we see the volatility. Someone will come with good news and someone will come with the bad news.
Okay.
That's just it.
Okay, now I'm concerned about the implication of this on our forex. You mentioned something about exchange. This morning we are saying that the dollar sold about 600 naira in the parallel market. So what's the implication of this, on our foreign exchange?
For me, I don't really see, for now, to be honest, the way the regulation has been done, I don't really see a positive output on this. Because one thing I asked somebody is, was this regulation in favor of who? Nigerians or foreign companies? It's in favor of foreign companies.
How so?
Yes. If you check the criteria to get the permit, 100,000 naira for the form, 300,000 naira for the application form, 30 million naira for registration. And then you have to do a weekly update to SEC, upload SEC. The people that are doing this crypto peer-to-peer are the youths. Most of them don't even, this is like a job to them. They don't have the financial capacity to do this. Now, if you regulate with these huge terms, you just open the door for foreign companies.
Could it be because they want to ensure that only very serious players come into the business?
When the serious players come in, I think that the paramount thing for anything that we want to do is for the interest of Nigerians to benefit from it and to reduce unemployment. I think that they would have done this in a way that it will also benefit these young guys that are doing peer-to-peer. Now, even if you want to put 30 million naira, why don't you roll out grants for the Nigerian players, most of these guys that are doing this, to be able to come in, develop a platform so that these platforms will be used by Nigerians, made and used by Nigerians. But as it stands right now, big crypto companies, the license fee is nothing to them. In fact, this is the amount they use in paying influencers. So you actually open the door for them to come in and they will come in, do transactions. Money is still leaving the country. If money is leaving the country, the economy is affected. So if you check the foreign exchange market, it won't have any positive impact because we are yet not producing anything. We're not even producing human resources, which we should have produced. So what I think that should have been done is this would have been done in a way to encourage and increase a lot of local platforms being done in Nigerians. If we have 80 million youths and we have just 10,000 come up with new crypto platforms with grants given by governments or even loans to be paid back in 10, 15 years, we're going to have so many platforms. There's a regulation on those platforms. There's a limit of transactions that can be done. Imagine 10,000 going away from 80 million. Those 10,000, I'm sure, will create 1,000 jobs. And they will also train a whole lot of persons. But most of these companies coming in, you are still empowering their economy, not our economy.
All right. Well, at this point, we have to end the discussion because of our time. We thank you for joining us on
Thank you very much
this morning and for having this discussion. We've been speaking with Japhet Johnson, cryptocurrency expert, and also foreign exchange and business development expert, Emmanuel Okwara, talking to us about the new regulation by the Security and Exchange Commission. With that, we've come to the end of the program for today. Do well to join us again tomorrow for another time on the program. In case you've missed for today, you can always catch up on our YouTube channel and also across all social media platforms. My name is Ayuba Ilya.
Yeah, thank you once again for spending this part of your morning with us. Do well to join us same time, same station tomorrow. My name is Stella Iaji. Bye.